I want to talk about a very important topic of uh, starting a business or a creative venture on the internet, because in this world there exists some crab ass motherfuckers, and I want to know what, if you do have any thoughts on the topic. If you're someone, if someone, again, same situation, someone's coming to you and they're talking about starting their own version, and they come to you and they say that they're surrounded by people who have doubts about it and they don't do their own sort of shit, what advice do you have to give to them?
Everybody has doubts, and I mean, not everybody has doubts, but people like to project their insecurities or doubts on you, and especially we were talking about earlier, like, everyone's gonna congratulate you for spending 50K to go to college and, like, get in debt and not have a job and spend 4 years partying. But the second, like, you wanna start a business for, even, like, a couple grand, they're gonna be like, "Oh, seriously?" So you gotta realize, like, people are either they don't understand or they're just projecting insecurities. So, like, no matter what you do, you're gonna get, like, some form of hate at some level. So you can't really take that too seriously. Like, for me, I remember still, like, when I first started out selling shoes, well, I started out the 5 years ago, kind of failed at it, stopped doing it for 2 years. Then 3 years ago, I was on vacation with my family, and we were with, like, family friends, and I was sitting there, and I was, like, plotting on selling shoes again. I didn't tell them yet. I was just on my phone, like, setting up my Instagram, like, getting things, like, prepared for it and just, like, making the steps to get it done. And I told my parents, they're like, "Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Like, what do you like, didn't you already do this? Like, like, you're gonna lose money. Like, what?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna, like, do it better this time. Like, I'm gonna take my lessons I learned and see other people and then put it all into one, like, culmination and do better this time." And they're like, "Yeah, right." And then, took that and sold like $20,000 of shoes in like 4 months, which to me at that time was like huge. Like that's not profit. Like that's literally like again Chipotle money. Like I'm not making much off that. I'm building connections and experiences. Um, and so I remember I was sitting at the dinner table. I think it was like Christmas or Thanksgiving. Like you got relatives over, and someone brought up, well, some of my family brought up like Michael's shoe business, that kind of thing. And they're like, "Oh, you buy shoes and then sell them for less than what you paid?" Like, and it was like hysterical to them. And I'm like, "What?" Like, first off, that was a terrible joke, and second, like seriously, like right to my face. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of crazy. Like people, no matter what, like friends, family, like friends will do it behind your back, no matter what. Like family, like the family's been more direct to me at least, like about that shit. Um, but you kind of just have to ignore that and just like keep going. Like for me, that's motivation. I didn't even have it recently as like a few months ago, like January. I remember like
Hmm.
my car broke down. I was kind of like, it ended up being like a small fix, so it really wasn't a big deal. But I was like, damn, how am I gonna pay for a new car? And then I was like talking on the phone with like one of my grandmas, and she's like, we were talking about my future and like the job I was like prepared for and preparing for, and she's like, "Oh, you don't think you're gonna keep doing the shoe thing, right?" And I'm like, and I just explained to her like how well it was going, like how much like I've shipped out like hundreds of shoes in like the short period of time, like it's the best it's ever been. And I'm like, have you been listening? Like what? Like, are you kidding me? So, but then you just turn that around. And you just kind of have to like, you kind of have to laugh about it at some extent. Like in
You're
that
right.
time, I was like super pissed. And then I woke up the next day and I'm like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like you want to do that? Like I'll literally just go to war with myself, like straight up and just do like the most I can do just to like prove that person wrong, which isn't like
Hmm.
it's not the best way to respond to like all those. You can't just like little Tommy on Instagram messages you and it's like, hey
Right.
dude, you suck. Like I've literally had kids like do some like dumbass stuff like that.